Okay, we can have a look at the process of building modules for Evil Tonelab. Excuse me. So let's say we've got this little patch here. It's about as simple as it could possibly be. Stereo in, stereo out. This is sort of representing our input and our output. All it is a simple gain stage. So we've got this slider here, and that's the UE, as it were. And as I say, this is representing our input and this is representing our output. So we've already built our patch. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into the template. So if I open in the dev folder, this is going to be a generator, by the way, so we use the generator GUI template. You do all the building work in the GUI template. So what I'm going to do first of all is just cut and paste the whole of this patch into there. Okay. What I'm also going to do first of all is get rid of some of the stuff that I don't need. Let's just set a background color. It could be anything. That'll do. We can then get rid of all this stuff here. Oops. We're not going to need a second page for this, so let's get rid of that as well. And we're not going to need for this. We're going to have a modulator, but we won't have any MIDI or triggering, so we won't need. Just lock the background a second. So we won't need these here. Let's get rid of that. Give it a title. Oops. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the UE part of it, that is anything non-signal, and we're going to keep it in the template. And the audio part we're going to put in this P audio process down here, this subpatcher. So it looks like the signal stuff starts here. So if we just take that, is going to go into the UE for the time being. Get rid of some of this other stuff as well. And what we're going to do, we're going to communicate via a POC object. So we've got this one for the modulator. We'll leave that there for the second. And we'll use this to communicate between the two parts. So we're going to set this to whatever we want to call this. So we're going to call this amp for amplitude, and then put the data type, which will be a float. So, and then put that into the input of the POC there. We're then going to take all this stuff here, where we can get rid of the test input, we can get rid of the output. We're going to take the audio guts of the thing and we're going to paste it into this P audio process. Okay, so there it is. And we're going to communicate, as I say, between the two via the POC and root here. So we want a corresponding root for that one, so we called that amp. So we're going to have one here. We'll leave that one for the mod. That amp. So this, just get rid of that, we don't need that. So this output here, if matches amp, will be the one that we want to connect to here. Okay, what we also want to do, I mean, we could literally finish it here, just by connecting the inputs left, right, and outputs left, and right. Okay, that could be the end of it, but what we want, as well as being able to simply set the amplitude with the slider, we're going to want to modulate that amplitude as well. So if we put in another pair of these here, and this set mod patch comes inside the templates. Basically what it does is it allows you to set the receive for the modulation data, and if this is set to off, it will set a signal value of 1. In other words, it will, if connected to a times object here, it'll send it a unity gain. So basically we can connect this straight up. So we can test this now in our in situ. So I haven't saved anything yet. We can test this in situ. We can use the I/O patch that is connected up here, so we can just put something in. Let's select a sound file. Right, and loop that. Hearing nothing at the moment because the slider's down. And to test that modulator, set that to modulator 1. Actually, first what we need to do is open Tonelab, because of course the modulators are just sends and receives, so we can use Tonelab itself to actually set the send. So if I just open up, let's say this LFO here, set it to a sine wave, and set that to modulator 1. And just set this as modulator 1. And you can hear that's modulating while it's distorting. But, and then what we can do, we can just get this ready to save. So we just tidy up the interface a little bit, drag off anything that we don't want on screen, and hide those patch cords. So what we can do is we cut and paste replace that P audio process into the generator core template. So we open that template and paste replace that subpatcher in. Open it first just to check that we have done that. Then, most important, remember to save as rather than save, because you don't want to overwrite the templates. So what we can do is we will save first of all this core into the generators folder. So we'll call that, well, remember we have to number it, so we've got 31 currently in that folder. So we'll save this as 32 and we'll call it just test. Test core, that would be, because it's the core patch. Save that. And then with the GUI patch, we can get rid of all this stuff here that we don't need anymore, that's just there for testing. And again, save as, and this time it'll go into the generator GUI folder. So gen GUI, we're going to call it the same thing but without the core, so that's 32 test. It's important that it's identical, so that it sorts in the same alphanumeric order, of course. And to make these available in Tonelab, all we need to do is to go to the generator section here and refresh these menus. At the moment, you can't see that because it's off screen, but there are 31 modules in there. So if I hit the refresh menus button, that number 32 has now appeared, the test module that we've just done. So let's drop that into slot number 8 here. And there is our test module there. If we just play something through it, let's just run this loop player through it. Whatever. Drop something in there, so that's 5 going into 8, so we come down 5 into 8, bring that up. Let's just mute everything else so that we know that. So it's 8. And hit play. And just check the modulation there. Let's again set this sine wave here. Let's take that down a second. Set this as sine wave here and set that as modulator 1. See if that's modulator 1. Yep, job done.